Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about time and about the idea of waiting, because there's a different way of looking at it that will completely change your feeling around time and around waiting. Here's how you need to look at it. You need to see the manifestation of the fulfillment of your desire as a story, like a timeline, from beginning to end. So the manifestation isn't just the end point where you can actually physically see the thing you desire manifested in physical form. It's the whole story, starting from where you are now, going through a whole series of twists and turns, and ending up at your desired outcome. It is the whole thing that is the manifestation, not just the end result. And so when you're looking at the manifestation in this way, there is no such thing as waiting, because you're just choosing which story, which reality you want to experience. And you're immediately jumping in and beginning to experience that story, that reality right now. So for example, if your desire is to have a baby, then the manifestation is you at exactly the point you are at now, traveling through life, getting pregnant, carrying that baby for 9 months, and then giving birth to it. The whole thing is the manifestation. If your desire is to be in a lovely relationship, then the manifestation is you at the point you are now, traveling through life, meeting this lovely person, sitting down and chatting with them, getting to know them, realizing you both really like each other, and then getting together. The whole thing is the manifestation. If your desire is to be fit and healthy, then the manifestation is you at the point you are at now, going through your days, eating things that you love eating and that are really good for your body, doing activities that you love doing that are also really good for your body, finding a solution to your problem if you have an illness that you want to get rid of, implementing that solution and seeing the changes happen, and finally getting to the outcome that you wanted. The whole thing is the manifestation. So when you understand this, it's no longer a case of spending all this time doing some technique and then standing still and waiting for that desired outcome to appear. It's a case of noticing, what reality am I in now? Am I in the manifestation that I want to be in? Or am I in an unwanted reality that is nothing like what I want to be experiencing? And if you notice that you're not in your desired reality, then you need to choose right now to move into the reality that you do want to be in and jump into it straight away. You don't need anything on the outside to change first, because it is literally just an internal choice. Which reality am I in? One that is leading me to my desired outcome or one that isn't? And if you notice you're in one that isn't leading to your desired outcome, then jump into the one that is. There is no waiting time required at all. You can move into that reality right this second. I know it can be hard to get your head around this, but you really need to understand that everything is constantly forming itself according to your assumption. If I have a desire to be in a lovely relationship, but I know that I'm in a reality where the likelihood is that I will keep getting rejected and that there's no way that I'm ever going to get what I want, then I'm going to be very careful who I speak to. I'm going to be wary and avoid taking any chances because I know that I need to protect myself from getting hurt. Whereas if I know that one way or another it's inevitable that I'm going to end up meeting a really lovely man and we're going to have the most amazing relationship, then when I see a single man that I like, I'm a lot more open to sitting down and having a conversation with him. And I'll be curious about him. And I'll want to find out more to see whether he might be the one that I'm going to end up having this lovely relationship with. And then because I'm so curious and so open towards him, I'm going to come across as a lot more engaging than if I was being the reserved version of me that was protecting herself and trying to hide and making sure she doesn't give too much away so that she doesn't risk getting hurt. And so As a result, if this is the right man for me, I am allowing that opportunity to blossom into something more. And I'm not shutting it down before I've even started, before I've even given it a chance. Can you see how the state that you're living from internally completely changes what you project out as your external experience and what plays out as physical fact? So it's always a case of asking yourself, what reality am I in? Am I in the reality that I want to be in? Or am I in a reality that I don't want to be in? And if you notice that you're in an unwanted reality, choose to move right now. You don't need anything external to give you permission first. You don't need something outside of you to say to you, yes, you can have this. You don't need some physical facts to confirm to you that you're allowed to have what you want. If you're making yourself dependent on the external world changing first, on getting some external guarantee that you can have what you want, then you're putting yourself in this endless loop, because the world out there is always conforming to what you know to be true. And if you're waiting for the world to confirm to you that you can have something, since the world is always reflecting your internal assumption, it will keep showing you that there is no confirmation yet, that there is more waiting required. So to break that loop, you need to decide that you do get to have what you want. Not because of any physical evidence that you're allowed to have this, but because you are choosing this and you are trusting the source to create it for you. That's the only reason. It's not because of any physical evidence that it's possible. It's because you're choosing from the field of infinite possibilities, where everything is possible, and trusting that this is now what is being created for you, and this is the reality that you're in. So this is the skill that you need to learn, to move right now to the reality that you want to be in. Stop focusing on trying to change things out there. That will happen automatically once you have the settings set right on the inside. But until you have the settings set right on the inside, no amount of trying to manifest this or that thing is ever going to get it to show up. Think of it like a projector. You've got the settings on one end and the story gets projected out on the other end. But if you try to change anything on the side of the projection, where the images are being played out on the screen, you can't change anything because there's nothing to grasp, because none of it is solid. It's just a projection. Whereas if you go to the other end, to where the projector is, and set the settings differently, now automatically what plays out on the screen is going to look different. So always check within. Let that be the place you return to, the place you go and check when you notice that things on the outside aren't going the way you'd like them to go. Go and check what you've got the settings set to. Am I in the reality that I want to be in? Are these facts that I can see around me leading to my desired end? Or are they leading to an unwanted end? And don't try to look at the facts to give you the answer of what they're leading to, because they are never determining anything in themselves. It's only the meaning that you are choosing to give those facts that matters. And if you notice that you're assuming that the fact that things are the way they are means that it's all leading to an unwanted end, all you need to do is change that assumption. You don't need to change the facts. You just need to realize that you're completely free to leave those facts behind and choose to create new ones. If I look up and see a sign that says, "This path leads to the blue house," and I really don't like the blue house and I don't want to go to the blue house, is there something forcing me to continue walking on that path? Do I need to start fighting with the path and with the sign and trying to make it all be different? Or can I just turn around and take a different path? This is the same thing. There is nothing imposing anything on you. Just because you're in an unwanted reality right now, there is nothing forcing you to stay there. You really can, right now, choose to move into another reality where things work very differently. You really can. And you do it not by fighting or trying to change anything out there, but by really letting yourself move into the idea that things can be different internally. It never is anything out there that is the problem. It is your conviction that that external thing is so fixed and can't be changed that is the problem. So you need to learn to loosen your grip on your certainty that this unwanted thing is definitely a massive problem that is unlikely to change anytime soon. That is where you need to play. That is the feeling that you need to dislodge. Once you dislodge that, you'll see that the external thing changes very easily because it was just a projection all along. And when you shift and stop holding on to that unwanted thing being true on the inside, well, then it can no longer be true on the outside either. And the world will have no choice but to reflect your new assumption. So you need to see yourself as being on a journey, one in which everything that you want is unfolding, where you get to have everything you need, every single step of the way as you progress along that journey. Honestly, it's so much easier this way than feeling like you need to make things show up right this second, and feeling like your security and well-being is dependent on being able to see physical confirmation that you definitely do get to have everything you want. Why? Because it's the nature of this physical reality that we can only see a very tiny portion of what is actually available to us. Like, for example, today, I can only see the meal that I'm going to eat today. And perhaps I might also be able to see tomorrow's meal in the fridge, but when it comes to what I'm going to eat next month, I'm just trusting that the food is going to be there. Not because I can see it, but because I know that of course I'm going to get something to eat one way or another. So you need to learn to do the same thing with your desires as well. You need to trust that it's all going to be there in perfect timing. And that way, you're not messing with the story by trying to make the end show up before you've even started. And this really comes down to the state you're living from. That internal setting again. Because the state you're living from determines how you perceive everything around you and what role you think you need to play in order to get to your desired outcome. If you know that you're in an unwanted reality and that you're headed down an unpleasant path, then the state you're living from is one where you feel like you need to fight against all these unwanted things and do something to change them. Whereas if you know that you're in the reality that you desire to be in, and that everything is unfolding perfectly, and that you have this lovely path lying ahead of you containing everything you desire, then you can just relax and enjoy the journey. Can you see the difference? One feels tense, stressful, and urgent. The other feels comfortable, relaxed, and supported and exciting. And yet nothing has changed on the outside, only your internal stance has shifted. But that internal shift is everything. It's what determines whether you feel like you're trying to survive in a hostile world or whether you're simply walking forward in a story that's already been beautifully designed for you. So just keep choosing the story you want to be in. Keep choosing the assumption that it's all unfolding exactly as it should. And that the path you're on right now is the path that leads straight to your desired destination. And because of that, you don't need to rush or force anything. You can actually enjoy every part of it as it's happening. And I want to emphasize again, never go to the outside to check which reality you're in. If you're relying on the outside to confirm to you whether you're in your desired reality or not, then if you go and check the facts and you see that there's a low amount in your bank account, or there's no sign of any lovely person that's interested in you, or there's these symptoms in your body that don't feel very good. If you use those facts to decide which reality you're in, if you look at the facts and go, look at how things are, that means I'm in the wrong reality, damn it. I must do something to fix this. Well, what you've just done there is just chosen to continue to place yourself on a path that contains more and more of all this unwanted stuff. Whereas, if you're basing your choice of which reality you're in on your internal preference, and you're not restricting your choice based on what looks possible from the outside, then when you look at the outside facts, you just go, oh, this must still be the unfolding part of the story. And then lots of twists and turns are going to happen, and things will rearrange themselves, and I will end up getting what I want. And if you're living from that narrative, then that's exactly what will happen. I'm sure you've all seen movies where everything is going wrong for the main character at the beginning, and then through a series of events, everything falls into place and ends up leading to a very happy ending. And that can be the story of your life as well, if you let it be that way. But you have to learn to trust what you're choosing on the inside over and above what you're seeing on the outside. You have to be the one in the driving seat, noticing what meaning you're giving to things. And if you see that you're choosing something unwanted, or you see that you're giving unwanted meaning to things, just choose differently. I promise you, everything that you want is completely available to you. You just have to learn to not use those external facts against yourself. Because if you keep using those external facts as proof that you can't have what you want, you will keep proving yourself right. You have to understand that it is all just a reflection. And if you can just let yourself see that it is your conviction, your belief in whatever the perceived limitation or difficulty in the external world is, that is what keeps that limitation and that difficulty alive. And the moment you let yourself go beyond it and internally say, I choose to allow what I want to be created for me. I have no clue how this is possible. I can't see how the current facts can possibly ever turn into the outcome I desire. But even so, I am choosing to let go of logic and to trust the source to create this for me. Then that's what will happen. And if you do this, get ready, because oh my God, you will be blown away at how magically everything starts to fall into place in ways that you never imagined even in your wildest dreams. This stuff really does work, but you do need to let go of holding on to limitation and learn to go beyond the human self and open yourself up to possibilities that your human self can't even conceive of. That's how the magic happens. When you shift your internal state, everything else naturally shifts to reflect it. You don't need to control or manipulate the steps along the way. Your only job is to notice what reality you prefer and choose the one that leads you where you want to go. And keep showing up as the version of you who is already on that path. Let life meet you there, and then enjoy seeing how beautifully everything unfolds. Okay, and with that, that's it from me for today. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.